Okay, welcome to this newest episode of my series on designing my own magic set. So this time what we're looking at is the uncommons from white. So I was thinking about doing the rares first, and I did do it last time. I did do the multicolored rares, and I guess the multicolored mythics. But after thinking about this, I did come to the conclusion that since I want to emphasize draftability, because drafting is the way I want to interact with the game most. I thought that it would be better to start from the bottom instead of like making the commons and then the rares and then push whatever is whatever feels like too powerful in the commons or complicated in the commons and too weak or not exciting enough down from the rares. But yeah, just to keep the drafting balanced, I decided that maybe I want to do the uncommons first, because the uncommons do affect how you draft. Um, because you want a certain number of creatures in your set, and you want like a good curve of creatures and spells in your set as well. And in order to keep this available to you to the players, you have to the lower rarities are more important than the higher rarities. Like this is why, for example, limited resources, they do the uncommons and commons first, and then they do the rares and mythics in a separate episode. And also like uh, LSV includes the most powerful commons in each color in its set reviews and so forth. But anyway, so let's go through the white uncommons. So again, I decided that I would follow at least for creatures, I would follow the exact same mana curve as in Crimson Vow, which is again the set I've been using as basis for my set. So we have how many creatures? 9 creatures with 1 drop and 4 2 drops and 2 3 drops and a 4 drop and a 5 drop. And yeah, and again, like in commons, I want to have both soldiers and I want to have clerics, because these are the two major themes, like in the Order of the Forsaken, the Cannibal Cult. So they have clerics who run the thing, and they have soldiers who enforce the mandates of the clerics. And also there's um, not only humans, but there's humans, cats, and birds. Maybe I should have included something else in the uncommon slots. Um, did I have? At some point, I was thinking about including uh, like elephants or rhinos. Why can't I remember the rocks for rhinos and whatever the elephant race is? I don't remember. Anyway, and I Loxodon, yeah, that's it. And probably at some point I will, but they might be in green. But we'll see. I guess I have some in the multicolored already. So um, bird, human, orc, elf, troll, human, hag. No, those are the rares. This is here we have bird, human, Viasino, rocks, elf, Loxodon. Yeah, okay. So here we have whites. Specifically in white, we do have a Loxodon cleric. Well, white, black, and a goblin who's red, white. I'm not gonna make a purely white goblin, I don't think. Um, even if I am like, okay, so this is what happens in uh, the Wizards of the Coast already acknowledged that the way they are portraying the species, which are called races but should be called species in their sets, does have like racist connotations, because they are based on kind of well, not necessarily like actively racist, but passively racist writings from Tolkien and whoever from like the first half of the last century. I guess. Well, I guess Lord of the Rings came out in 50s, but anyway, like they do have like hobbits are specifically very English, whereas the dwarves are specifically very Scottish, and you have the so-called lower races. I don't remember if Tolkien actually uses this word, but they have this. They can be easily linked to like well, Eastern people from the East. So there is this like problematic element to it, which I do want to avoid. But then again, I do like goblins are just pure fun, and they are pure fun because they are specifically red. So I don't want to take that out from them. Like red is definitely the color of fun. I mean, other colors can have fun, but red is the color of emotion. So yeah, sense of humor is a red quality. And yeah, but okay, yeah, but anyway, I have here humans, clerics, cats, and birds. And what I wanted to have like a soldier and a cleric from each. Um, although I didn't like limit things to that. I wanted to have like this mini cycle of cards here as well. And in the end, I decided to also add a dog because why not? It's called a good boy for let's call it great boy. That's fun. That's kind of stupid, but also kind of funny. Anyway, so most of these are from the Order of the Forsaken, but the dog is like something else. It's because it's more about the 1/1 theme that that the set has. So it's more of a like the Order of the Forsaken is mostly black. It's mostly white, but somewhat black, just a little bit black. But the 1/1 theme is in like green white mostly. Although as you can see, there's some here that also have synergies with the 1/1, so create 1/1 or whatever. So there's this. They have synergies in both ways because I don't want to. I don't want to have a set where you you start with a specific card and then you just know that you need to pick up these kinds of cards to be able to make your set. Like Ixalan, for example, you had to force from the beginning because otherwise you wouldn't get enough synergies to make your deck work. So in that sense, like there's plenty of cards that can work with specific other archetypes. So you can mix and match cards from various places. Of course, the problem is that I'm not going to test this set again, like I've mentioned many times before. I'm not going to test this set in any way. But yeah, I don't know what else to say. Well, let's go through the cards. So starting with the one drop. So Order Lancer 1/1 for specifically white, and it has double strike as long as you control a cleric. And I don't know. This is probably an uncommon because it's not necessarily that usable. It's kind of powerful if you're attacking early, but since the set doesn't necessarily have many ways to pump it, it's not going to be like overly powerful. There's some ways to pump it, but I'm also sort of careful about growing the 1/1s because there is specifically a team around the 1/1s. So you don't necessarily even want to grow the 1/1s in many cases. Yeah. I thought about whether I should actually mention that if someone is base 1/1, it still gets the bonuses, but I don't know. I didn't want to do that. I wanted to specifically be about 1/1s because the thought was that like if a creature grows beyond being a 1/1, it's no longer like a helpless child or a helpless, basically cattle for the Order of the Forsaken. So it shouldn't get the protection anymore, or whatever bonuses it's getting. Okay, so then Curate of Levies, human cleric, 1 and a white, 2/1. Whenever you surveil the first time on your turn, create a 1/1 human token. Like, okay, is this too powerful? Okay, so, I guess the basis for this was there's a 3/1 in Ikoria, which creates a 1/1 every time. Well, for the first time you cycle each turn. So this is basically the same idea, but I didn't want to make it like that card is way too powerful in Ikoria. Well, mostly because the synergies are so strong, because there's so many cards with cycling, and it's so easy to cycle in that set. But I still wanted to, make this more manageable. So I made it smaller. The creature in Ikoria is a 3/1, and I also wanted to limit how many times you can do this. So you can only do this on your turn. You can't make like surprise blockers, or well, you can the creature from Ikoria has the same limitation that it can only trigger once, but it can trigger once each turn. So this is in that sense also more limited. Then, okay, Dutiful Guardian, Cat Soldier, 1 and a white, 3/1. Whenever you surveil, if you control a cleric, you may pay 1. If you do, card name gains indestructible until the end of turn. So kind of several loops to jump through here. To make this work, you have to surveil, you have to control a cleric, and you have to have the 1 open. But I was thinking about, there have been several of these like 3/1 creatures. There's it's a 1/1, but there's in Ixalan there was the 1/1 vampire that gained if it was attacking, it had +2/+0, and you could pay 4 to give it indestructible. I forget the name, and I seem to be forgetting a lot of card names. And then in one of the, I'm guessing it was M20, there was a 3/1 where you could discard a card from your hand to give it indestructible until end of turn. And then there's the Fleeting Spirit from Midnight Hunt, if I remember correctly, or was it Crimson Vow? No, it's Crimson Vow. Yes, it's there. So which you could give a first strike to by exiling cards. I think it was creature cards from your graveyard, and you could also phase it out by discarding a card, if I remember correctly. But anyway, so these very aggressive, hard to kill creatures. I think there's even more examples, but I just can't remember them right now. So, but anyway, I wanted to like have one creature along those lines, but just make it that much easier to have it be indestructible, because it does become bothersome. Although I've also seen that many people just don't know how to play those creatures, so they keep just killing themselves by discarding cards to save it, to save something multiple times. But anyway, and it's still card for card, although like discarding a card for that is still like doesn't cost any mana. I'm thinking about the 3/1 from whatever core set that was. Anyway, Curate of Sustenance, Cat Cleric, 1 and a white, 1/3. Whenever 1/1 enters the battlefield under your control, surveil 1 and gain 1 life. So there was an idea here that the Curate of Levies produces the 1/1s, and this produces 1/1, this surveys for 1/1, so they can each trigger each other. But obviously, the Curate of Levies only triggers once per turn, so you don't. Oh, this is missing surveil 1. And yeah, so the point being that these two just work together. And then the Curate of Morale, third Cleric Soldier, 1 and a white, 2/1 flying. Whenever card name attacks, 1/1 creatures you control gain first strike until end of turn. So more 1/1 shenanigans here. Curate being here like a low-ranking member of the order. Then Aven Skirmisher, Bird Soldier, 2 and a white, 1/1 flying. Whenever card name attacks, tap target creature. Since it's flying, it might be just a little bit too powerful. I don't know. I took down the similar card again in Ixalan, which is a 2/3 and does the same. Like it's called Hammerhead or whatever, but it obviously doesn't have flying. So yeah, and there's one in, is it Crimson Vow? Again, yeah, Distracting Geist, yes, which is a 2/1 and doesn't have flying, but has the on the other side has the ability to give this ability to something else. But yeah, the flying could be too much. I'm not sure. Then Order Canvasser, Human Cleric, 2 and a white, 2/2. At the end of turn, if you have gained life this turn, create a 1/1 human token. So again, like this works with the Curate of Sustenance. But obviously you can't get because at the end of turn, it doesn't trigger like multiple times. Then Flying Instructor, Bird Soldier, 3 and a white, 3/2 flying, and 1/1s you control have flying. Again with the, I'm really pushing the 1/1 team here, am I? Oh yeah, I guess so. And then the Great Boy, Legendary Dog. I thought that since I have a bunch of legendary uncommon 2-color creatures, might as well have a 1 legendary creature at uncommon for each color as well. And like, again, you think about what would be funny or what would be fun, like making a weird commander deck. So Great Boy, Legendary Dog, 3 and 2 whites, 3/3, and went ETPs, put a +1/+1 counter on each 1/1 creature you control. All abilities you control which affect or trigger on 1/1 creatures you control also affect all 2/2 creatures you control. So it basically lets you grow your 1/1 army into 2/2s, and still, like the Flying Instructor, is still gives all of them flying, and whatever the green-white creature is still gives them hexproof, and still when a 2/2 enters the battlefield under your control, you still surveil 1 and gain 1, and so forth. So I just thought that this would be like a weird ability someone would have fun trying to build around. And in this set where you have a lot of chances of making 1/1s, this could be like, last thing you do before alpha striking. But then the non-creature spells. So okay, I wanted to have like 1 mana removal spell. So I called it Regression. Creature has defender, loses flying, and has protection from equipment and protection from other enchantments. So yeah, it's like Sky Tether from the last Ravnica block, which obviously wasn't a real block, but anyway, there was this, I think, well, it's a white spell in there. It just, target creature loses flying and has defender, and that's it. I don't know why I decided to give this the other things as well, but yeah, I thought about making it a 1/1. Like I thought that maybe this could be just make that creature a 1/1, because white has been able to do stuff like that before, even though it's mostly a blue thing. But then I decided that okay, maybe I should save this effect for blue specifically, because I do want blue to have these weird like less powerful removal spells. So yeah, and like making something a 1/1 can actually be beneficial for you in some cases. So that's one thing you want to have in your sets. You like want to have people have these moments where they figure something out, like aha, I know how to protect my creature, or I know how to get this creature through your defenses. Like I can make it a 1/1 and stuff like that. Obviously, making something a 1/1 isn't necessarily always good, but it can definitely have benefits, especially in this specific set. But yeah, I wanted to leave that for blue, although blue isn't one of the 1/1 synergy colors most of the time. But yeah, I still want to make it blue because it feels like more of a blue ability. Then child's armor, equipment, 1 and white, creature gains 1+1+, equip 2 and 1, attached to a 1/1, and for 0 you can unattach it. So why I wanted to have the unattachability is that, well, because 1/1s do have certain benefits in the set, like it might be beneficial for you to be able to ditch the armor from any 1/1 at any given time. Like if your 1/1s have a hexproof, then yeah, you might want to ditch the thing that gives it +1/+1 and makes it a 2/2. Then procreation. For each creature that's not a 1/1 you control, create a 1/1 token creature that has the same creature types as that creature. I don't know if procreation is as a name it's appropriate, but yeah, I still want to do it. And it costs, yeah, it's a sorcery and 4 and a white. Then take down instant, your mandatory white uncommon removal spell. So destroy target creature with toughness 3 or greater, surveil 1. Pretty much based on Sky Whaler's Sot. Yes, I think it's from Kaladesh, or whatever the name of the second Kaladesh set was. And then finally Commanding Presence enchantment 3 and a white. This is a reprint, so it gives first strike and +2/+2 for your creature, and whenever it deals combat damage to an opponent, you get a 1/1 creature. It was kind of powerful in Theros in many situations. It was like sometimes you just couldn't fight it at all. So I don't know if this is a good place for it, because it can feel daunting and inappropriate and like too powerful. But still, well, the thing is that the creatures in my set in general aren't very big. So giving anything +2/+2 is already can be extremely powerful. Like if everything, as you can see, like here, basically everything is largest creature here is a 3/3, largest creature here is a 4/4. So let's say if you play it on curve and you play it on like you get for 3 mana you get a 3/2 and you and then you put like a +2/+2 on it and give it the first strike. it's extremely difficult to deal with that creature. And I generally don't have many big creatures in other colors either. Well, obviously blue has one, green has one. I think red has one. Yeah, apparently red has two. Black, yeah, has one fairly large creature. Anyway, yeah. So it can be having a 5/4 with first strike can in itself be very powerful. So yeah, you have to be careful with these kinds of abilities. On the other hand, obviously, if your opponent can then just remove that creature or can remove it in response, like there's plenty of ways you can do that, then that is a 2-for-1, unless you get that one attack in which case it's not pure 2-for-1 because you do get that 1/1, but at the same time 1/1s aren't necessarily that helpful except in this particular set where you can have a lot of synergies with having 1/1s. Although I have tried to make sure that the 1/1s are still like, not that powerful. They you can do stuff with them, and I will have more ways of doing stuff with them when I get to green and when I get to rares, but it's not going to be necessary. It's going to be more of a synergy than like a game winning strategy in itself. Of course, you can always jump with them and so forth, but yeah. But anyway, thanks for listening. Next time, blue uncommons. And well, if you feel like it, do all the YouTube things, whatever. Or if you happen to read this on my blog, you can feel free to comment there as well. But yeah, see you next time.